Hello, friends. I'm Kathy Fay, Executive Director of the Boston Early Music Festival, or BEMF, and I'm so pleased to welcome you to this very special pre-concert talk, offering an introduction to the upcoming concert on our 2024-2025 concert series, featuring the extraordinary vocal ensemble Stile Antico on Friday, March 28th at St. Paul Church in Harvard Square, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Stile Antico is one of the most accomplished and sought-after Renaissance vocal ensembles in the world, lauded for their impeccable blend, intonation, and musicianship. The self-directed 12 singers of Stile Antico made their North American debut to great critical acclaim nearly 17 years ago at the June 2009 Boston Early Music Festival. We're so proud to welcome the singers of Stile Antico back to the BEMF concert stage for their 12th appearance on our annual concert series. In celebration of their 20th anniversary, Stile Antico has prepared a program titled The Golden Renaissance, representing their favorite works from 2 decades of performing together, with masterpieces from Josquin to Victoria, Tallis and Bird, to Gibbons and Guerrero, and crowned by Allegri's iconic Miserere. It is my honor to introduce our 3 guests, all members of Stile Antico, altos Emma Ashby and Rosie Parker, and bass Nathan Harrison. Emma, Rosie, and Nathan, thank you so much for joining us today. We're looking forward to hearing more about your vision and motivation for this extraordinary program. Before I turn the microphone over to the 3 of you, for those wishing to attend our Friday evening, March 28th performance by Stile Antico, tickets are still available and can be purchased online by visiting the BEMF website at bemf.org or by calling the BEMF office at 617-661-1812. For those unable to attend our in-person performance on March 28th, virtual tickets are on sale as well. Our virtual presentation premieres on Friday, April 11th, and will be available for 2 weeks through and including Friday, April 25th, 2025. I should also mention that if you'd like to learn more about the upcoming concert by Stile Antico, you'll find the concert program, wonderful program notes, and the complete texts and translations on our website, again, bemf.org. Finally, my heartfelt thanks to Jean Fuller Farrington for her leadership support of the virtual presentation by Stile Antico. All of us at BEMF are grateful to Jean, as well as our many friends and fans around the world who attend and support our in-person and virtual performances. If you'd like to learn more about concert sponsorships, please visit the BEMF website, again, bemf.org. So with that, I will now disappear from the screen and turn the discussion over to the 3 of you. My thanks to all of you for watching this pre-concert talk, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday, March 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And I just wanted to start off by saying it's always a pleasure to be welcome back to the Boston Early Music Festival. But this year especially, as it's actually during a time we're commemorating 2 really big milestones. First one, as you've been saying, we're celebrating 500 years of Palestrina's birth, which we're performing was probably the most concerts we've done in the first year for a new program. I'm not sure whether that's correct, but I think so. And then alongside that, I'm proud to say, I'm probably Ashley Emma was more proud to say because she's been in the group since the beginning. That the group is celebrating its 20th anniversary year, as you were saying, which is amazing. And for that, we're performing many concerts like the one we're doing tonight, which we've named the Golden Renaissance, where we've essentially chosen a selection of our favorite pieces, just one piece selected from each CD that we've recorded in the past. So it's a sort of a memoir to all our life as a group. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting year, shaping up to be a pretty exciting year.
Excellent. Can't wait to see you. Take care.
Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, it's been a really exciting year so far, but actually I have to say I'm personally quite looking forward to a little break from Palestrina. As Nathan mentioned, we've sung a Palestrina shaped program for the majority of the year so far. So it's quite nice for us to have a bit of a palate cleanser of some of our absolute favorites. So it's going to be a real treat. I'm really looking forward to it. We thought it would be quite nice to take you through roughly section by section and pick out a few highlights. So Emma, who is on our music sub, which is the one that builds the programs, take it away and we'll chip in.
Yeah. So as Nathan said, this is sort of just an overview of kind of our very favorite pieces from the Renaissance, but also we wanted to try and pick something from each recording that we've done. And of course the Allegri, which we haven't yet recorded, but maybe one day we will.
Maybe we will.
So if you can find a link to the program on the website, try and find it now, but I'll talk you through as we go along. So we start off with a piece of Bird, Ex Surge Domine, which is just a really rousing motet, and it's from Bird's kind of angsty Catholic period, and it's a real kind of call to arms to God to help his fellow recusant Catholics who were all having a really miserable time of it at that point. And I don't know what you guys feel, but I feel when I sing it, it's one of those pieces that makes you want to kind of stand up and fight, for what you believe in.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly that. Yeah. It's a great one. It was a really fun piece to record, actually. So that was on our second most recent disc. So from 2023, I believe.
That's right, yeah, the Bird anniversary. Yeah.
Which was my first Stile CD, so it's very nice to kick off the concert with that one as well. But yeah, it's a fantastic piece. It's a great opener. Really, really good.
So then the next three are a little sort of mini Christmas set. They're all suitable for the Christmas period. We've got the Taverna Audi Vivocem, which is set for upper voices, so high soprano on top, another soprano part, a mezzo-y, and then a sort of alto-y part. And it's about, I heard a voice from heaven, so you get this really ethereal sound world coming from that upper voice setting, which is really
I was going to say, listening to it, every time I listen to it during the concert, it sounds like you're singing ethereal singers and sounds absolutely beautiful.
Angelic. You be the judge on Friday.
Yeah.
And then we have a really exciting little villancico, which is a sort of Spanish Christmas carol by Guerrero about the visit of the Magi to the stable. And then we go on to the Praetorius Einkindgeborn, which is basically a sort of a fast track tour through the entire Christmas story in how many verses? 10 verses. And the text kind of builds up as we go through. So the final verses, everyone sings all together and everyone's happy at Christmas time. Actually, I think we're going to put a little link in the YouTube to a video we made of this one at Christmas time 2024. We were away it was basically the whole week before Christmas, wasn't it? We were touring around Europe.
The Netherlands.
And we filmed each verse in different settings. So it's a little light-hearted, a little bit silly, but if you fancy a bit of Christmas spirit in your rainy March, then go for it.
Exactly.
It's always good to set ourselves a project when we're already incredibly busy on tour. This is it's probably a bit of a Stile theme. We like to give ourselves just possibly slightly too much to do. And most of the beautiful editing work was done by Nathan here, so I just
well done, Nathan.
Thank him very much for the surprise entrance of
hours and hours. Hours and hours.
Hours and hours. It's one way to take up a train journey. Yeah, so Merry Christmas to all this March.
Merry Christmas all. And then so after Christmas has happened, we take it back and we go back to England, and we have a really beautiful peaceful Compline motet. This was from our first ever disc, which we recorded, I believe, in 2005 or 6. I can't now remember. But yes, in the very early days. And it was really the disc that kind of launched us to where we are today. So it's nice to revisit that. And then a piece of Tompkins, who Nathan is going to tell me off because I just said we're going back to England. But of course, Nathan...
He's definitely a Welsh composer. He is not English.
Tompkins was Welsh.
I'm Welsh, by the way. I'm very much a Welsh boy.
Right. So Tompkins worked in the westernmost part of Wales, in Pembrokeshire, St David's Cathedral. And this is a really exciting piece, and it's written in 12 individual voice parts. So we each take our own line, and you can hear all this sort of interplay between all our different voices. And it's really fun, really exciting.
It's definitely exciting to sing when we're doing it.
Good fun. And it's also, I mean, thinking of him working in St David's, we did a concert there when on earth was it? 18 months ago, maybe? I think we may have done more than one. But just imagining him there, it's worth, if you don't know what it looks like, go and Google a picture of St. David's Cathedral. It's absolutely bonkers. And
Absolutely
to
beautiful.
imagine, I mean, it's very, very inspiring. And I think
Yeah.
it's probably worth
It's
popping that
it's
on in
so
the
old.
background.
It's so old that it's actually sinking on one side. So like if you put a football on one side of the cathedral, it would just go all the way down.
Roll down the nave. Yeah. One of those quirky historical British buildings. We've got many. After our little trip to Wales, we go into a little Holy Week set to finish off the first half. So we've got the Gibbons Hosanna to the Son of David, which is the text about Palm Sunday and Jesus, what the crowd sort of shouted to Jesus as he entered into the holy city.
Another one,
and again,
I think that it's quite evocative, a bit like the first piece in the programme, The Bird. It's pretty forthright. I always really enjoy singing this, particularly when we're mixing it in with sort of softer pieces. I find that this is always a great return to the
because it
drama.
really feels like the crowd, you get the sort of bubbliness of the crowd all shouting and jostling at different times, you know.
Totally that.
And then we go really into sort of a bit more puritanical Spartan mode. For this shepherd, I give you a new commandment, which is the text about the Last Supper, and it's just so kind of calm. This one, it's lower voices, so all the women get a rest, and Nathan gets some lovely low notes, which he enjoys.
Enjoy
but
that very much.
I always find this as if it's a sort of acceptance of his fate, and he's just kind of going, I know what's going to happen, but this is how it's got to be, and it just takes me into a really kind of calm zone, I think, when I listen to this one.
I think this is probably in my top 3 pieces to hear the group rehearse. Obviously, often there are all 12 of us singing, so that knocks out a couple of options. But I find that whenever we're sort of sound checking for this one, it always sounds sort of excruciatingly beautiful. I think the men do it so well.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's a personal highlight.
I agree. And then we're on to the Victoria Recessit Paternoster. That's it, isn't it? I think I've got those the right way around.
Sounded correct.
Which is one of the Tenebrae responsories, which are the motets that go through the Holy Week services, written by Victoria. And where this is in the story is kind of between Jesus having been crucified and before he is resurrected. And that's really reflected in the first half as very contemplative and mellow and kind of sad. And then the second half we inject some real hope and liveliness into what's to come. I really enjoy that one. And then of course the Allegri. Sorry,
I'm just wondering when you recorded the Victoria. I'm trying to remember which disc it's.
It's on the Victoria Tenebrae responsories.
Tenebrae responsories disc, yeah.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Look it up. Yeah, Easter's Holy Week's coming up, so it'd be a nice one to have in the background.
Yes.
Then the Allegri to finish the first half. So I mean, this is a very famous piece, obviously, and it's got the famous very high notes that Helen, our soprano, is always in awe of how she manages to do that, even on jet lag and in the middle of a busy patch, she just pops them out, these top C's.
Day one of US tour.
Day one of US tour.
Remarkable.
Well, fingers crossed she'll be great. She never hasn't been yet.
Very commendable.
So the legend surrounding this one was that if anyone took the music out of the Sistine Chapel, they would be excommunicated from the Catholic Church. What we have today of it is probably a bit of a kind of Chinese whispers, probably not very much like the original, but it's sort of everyone's best guess as to what it may have sounded like, and it may have been totally different. But I think it's the way it is at the moment. It feels very kind of meditative, and it's almost, you go into a trance-like state because it's just this sort of very calm, repetitive, and it's quite long, so it just really gets you into this kind of zone of meditation, I think.
Definitely feel like that when we're singing it.
Yeah, exactly. The sort of repetitive nature of it works for both sides, the singers and the audience, I think. And as well, for us, there's a spatial element because we split into 2 groups plus a soloist. which we always quite enjoy. We spend plenty of rehearsal time trying to decide where to stand each time. But yeah, I find being sung at, as it were, in one of the quartets versus the choir is always a rather nice experience to hear how different we sound in different areas of the building. So that's something to listen out for, I think.
Yeah,
definitely.
So yes, as I said, that one not yet recorded, but watch this space. Maybe one day we will. Then an interval, and everyone can go and stretch their legs, and we can go and have a glass of water. After the interval, yeah, we go on to this piece of Morales, which is a really exuberant motet, which was written to celebrate a peace treaty between Charles V of Spain and Francis I of France. And it actually name checks those two kings in the text of the piece, as well as Pope Paul III, who get an honourable mention for their efforts in the peace treaty. I was thinking about this. We've just come back today from Seville, and yesterday I went to visit the Alcazar, which is the royal palace in Seville, and there Charles V obviously would have been there, and there was a Charles V bedroom and that kind of thing. I was thinking it's quite cool to then be singing about these people that you've sort of been in their bedroom. It's quite fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I
just want to say, I particularly in this piece, I like what happens to the Cantus Firmus in the Gaudeamus. It's like how it changes from the way we sing it to begin with, and then it goes into double time as we get to the end of the piece. How it all comes together is quite interesting.
It's amazing, isn't it? One of the tenor parts, isn't it, just sings this Gaudeamus all throughout. That's all they do while we're doing all this narrative about this peace treaty and blah blah blah. And then as Nathan says, as it gets towards the end, they get longer and longer, and that's just this sort of common thread throughout the whole piece. It is really amazing, actually. So listen out for that one.
Yeah.
Then we're back to England for a couple of pieces. We've got Gibbon's "Oh Clap Your Hands," which is an 8-voice, 1-to-a-part piece, and really lively. We always love singing this, I think.
Very jolly.
It's really fun. It's actually one of my favourite pieces. And then that contrasts with The Bird, "Retire My Soul," which is completely different kettle of fish, really, which was written when Bird was in his 70s. He'd already gone into retirement into Essex, and sort of he'd done everything he needed to do, and the text is really beautiful. Look it up. It's sort of about how we should just think about what we are accountable for in our life, and what we've done well and what we might need to answer for when we get to where we're going. But yeah, it's beautifully understated, this one. I think it's really, really nice.
I always find this feels quite sort of it feels like a very long exhale. This piece, it's just the sort of the very final stages of Bird's life, and you can really hear it in the writing. Lots of downward phrasing, lots of.
And it's quite different to quite a lot of his work, isn't it? If it's sort of quite simple, but just really, really beautiful. He's absolutely mastered his craft by this point, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And again, sort of thinking back, that sheer contrast between that and the exorgy at the beginning of the program, it's a pretty perfect encapsulation of the breadth of his work, I think. It's an amazing piece.
And then we've got this tiny little piece by Jacques de Weert, who was the Flemish composer. It's a flash in the pan, really, but it's really exciting. We didn't really know this composer at all until the Early Music Festival at Antwerp asked us to do a concert program of de Weert's music. And we sort of we'll put something together and we'll see. And then we absolutely loved it. We loved it so much, so we thought we've got to record this music. So we recorded a whole disc of this composer's work, and this will give you a flavour of why we enjoyed it so much, I think, this little miniature. And then we've got the Clemens Ego Flos Campi, which is an absolute perennial favourite of the whole group, and various members and ex-members have had it sung at their weddings by us, and it really. Who knows, Nathan, how many times we've sung this one? But it never gets old.
Even I've sung it probably quite a few times. God knows how many times you've done it.
Exactly. Yeah. More than I'd care to count, I think. But yeah, not bored of it yet.
No, yeah, exactly. The sheer number of times we've done it, I think it's 3 or 4 Stile weddings and counting. I'm sure there may be more to come.
More to come.
But yeah, it is. It's a piece that we always get to in the program and think, do we need to rehearse this? But we don't need to rehearse this. And then we think, it would kind of be nice to sing it though. And
Yeah.
it's just, it doesn't get old. Does not get old.
Absolutely not.
We're all looking forward to that, I think.
And then staying in the Low Countries, we've got the Josquin Salve Regina, which is such a great piece. And
Yeah,
we did this on
definitely.
our Josquin disc in the 2021 anniversary, Josquin anniversary.
And it's
I don't
actually in
know,
our
I-
Palestrina program as well. It's actually in our
And
Palestrina program.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, we've been doing it already this year anyway.
Mm.
But to me, it feels quite different to a lot of Josquin, I think. I don't know, it feels a bit more Renaissance even, you know. And sometimes I find Josquin a bit too early for my taste, but this one feels very
Slightly
singable.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite florid. I think I'm on a part with a tenor. I'm singing the Gumby part, so I just sing Salve over and over and over and over again for a long time, and I don't get bored. So that's a sign of success.
Sign of a good composition.
But there's so much going on around that Gumby part. It's yeah. I think Emma, you're right. It's really florid. It's split into 3 quite distinct sections. And I think that the way that we sort of put those together really draw out all of the juice. I think it was,
Yeah, there's lots of different stuff going on, isn't there? Which I think is why it's so interesting to sing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then just to finish off the programme, we've got this amazing piece by Hugh Watkins, which was written for us in 2015, I think it was, when we were doing the...
It's in a Strange Land disc, I think.
Yes, and we did a whole programme around the Shakespeare anniversary around that time. I'm sure I've got that date wrong. I should have looked that up before coming on. The thing I would say about this one is I would encourage you to read the text before the concert because it goes very quickly and there's a lot of it and it's Shakespeare, so it's quite complicated, obviously. But yeah, there's a theory that it was written about. So it's called The Phoenix and the Turtle, and the turtle is referring to the turtle dove rather than an actual, flapping sea thing. There's a theory that it might have been written about 2 Catholic martyrs, a married couple who were martyred. And the very first line is, "Let the bird of loudest lay," which lay means sort of song or tune. So some people have mooted a theory that the bird of loudest lay could be William Byrd, could be referring to William Byrd, because there's a high chance that they might have known each other, Shakespeare and Byrd. I just think this one's really exciting. I really love singing it. Yeah. It's actually, I think, my favourite commission that we've had so far, I think.
Yeah, it makes amazing
Definitely
use.
is for me too.
Yeah, it makes amazing use of all 12 voices. The harmony is incredible to sit within. It's one of those pieces that feels very different to sing versus watching it, I think, actually. So I think definitely familiarising yourself with the text as much as you can is a good idea, because it's almost an assault in the best way. But the way he set the text, very, very clever.
Yeah.
It's very onomatopoeic towards the sound world.
Yeah, it is. It's a great piece.
Yeah. So we hope by the end of all that you've had a good overview of why we like singing this music and what might be coming up in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
we're absolutely delighted to be coming to Boston and celebrating our anniversary with you all. And we hope that, as Emma says, that's given you a bit of an idea of why we're still doing it and why we want to keep doing it. And
we're back again in November, I believe, are we? Is that right?
Yes, we are back in again in November, and we are bringing our Palestrina program that we've been doing this year, so it will be very well oiled. It's always interesting to see how a program beds in over the year. So we think we know it now, but you'll hear a different version of it in November, so that'll be good fun. But for now, yes, we can't wait to celebrate with you all on Friday. And
definitely.
We're really excited. So thank you very much for listening to us, and we'll see you
then.
then.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.